Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone around the world. In this video, I'm gonna show you. No, I'm not gonna show you. We're gonna exercise. So, exercising some cloud stuff, cloud exercise. All right, so let's see here. An e-commerce company. If there's an e-commerce company that has a fleet of EC2 web servers, web-based EC2 based web servers running into very high CPU utilization issues, the development team has determined that serving secure traffic via HTTPS is a major contributor to the high CPU load. Alright, so which of the following steps can take the high CPU load off the web servers? So create an HTTP listener in the ALB with SSL termination. So what is SSL termination? Right, so let's see here. Let's open up our AWS console and let us also open up our scripts for the 2024. All right, EC2 instances. So EC2, we have Nginx here, a fleet of web-based servers. So let's try to launch a web server. So this one here, try to launch this by going to our EC2, right? And then run that baby girl. It's gonna build EC2 instance. Let's go to CloudFormation. CloudFormation. Right, CloudFormation is spinning. Let's wait for it to be completed. Alright, so configure an SSL TLS certificate. Do we have an ELB CloudFormation here? No. Yeah, we have two. So let's go and create ELB. Oh yeah, we do have, right? So let's check again this one here. Yeah, this is an auto scaling and load balancer. Yeah, we do have already, but I'll just still create the README here for ELB specific things. All right. So let's open up CloudFormation again. Set completed. Not yet. Oh, not yet. All right, it's now completed. Uh, money, money. Always funny. There's a rich man. Money. Does Linux Ubuntu have paint style? Paint. Let's see here. Or let's see if they already have paint. Paint. Nope. Paint. Lower left. Which was that? Paint for Ubuntu 22.04. My paint. How to install my paint? Oh, my paint. It's still creating. This is for illustrating my paint. Alright, so let's try this my paint thing. Let's see if it already completed. So it's already completed. We now have an instance of EC2. We have two instances because our auto scaling group's max desired capacity is 2. Let's see here. What is the desired capacity? We are using EC2 auto scaling load balancer, which is this one, and we set the the load balancer. My load balancer security group. So we set our, where's our auto scaling group? Auto scaling, yeah, so this is our auto scaling. The desired capacity is 2, hence launching 2 EC2 instances here. And we want to know in how to create an HTTPS listener on the load balancer with SSL termination. So if we go to load balancer, there should be an application load balancer that was created. So this one here. So security, what is this security? Security group network. What is this network? Attributes, integration. Route 53, application recovery controller. Hold on, about to sneeze. Alright, so how do we create here, the listener. So it says here that create an HTTPS listener. So we have an HTTP listener here. If you go to our CloudFormation, we do have a listener here. So this one here is an HTTP listener. So we will, if we want to offload the high CPU load of the web servers, if we want to offload the high CPU utilization of the web servers, it says here that we will create an HTTPS listener in the application load balancer with SSL termination. What is SSL termination? So let's go and check. What is SSL termination in AWS? So let's go to the official documentation support for SSL termination. It's dated back to 2010. Is there any new? Alright, so let's just read this. Okay. So this is a blog from Jeff Barr in 2010. You can now create a highly scalable load balance website using multiple Amazon EC2 instances, and you can easily arrange for the entire HTTPS encryption and decryption process, generally known as SSL termination. You can easily arrange the entire HTTPS encryption and decryption process to be handled by an elastic load balancer. Your users can benefit from encrypted communication with very little operational overhead or administrative complexity. Until now, you have to handle the termination process within each EC2 instance. Alright, so termination process. Okay. This added to the load on the instance and also require you to install an X.509 certificate in each instance. X509, not X point, X509. This with this new release, you can simply upload the certificates to your Amazon account and we'll take care of getting them distributed to the load balancers. Alright, so you can simply upload the certificates to your AWS account and we'll take care of each of getting them distributed to the load balancer. Okay, so create or purchase a certificate. So that is where the ACM will come in. So if we go and duplicate, go to ECM, ECM. So what is the ECM application? Certificate Manager. All right, AWS Certificate Manager. Yeah, so this one here, the Certificate Manager. Uh, So this one here, new ACM managed certificate, request a public certificate from Amazon or a private certificate from your organization certificate authority or CA. Request a certificate. So this is where you're gonna configure a certificate. Yeah, configure an SSL or TLS certificate on the application load balancer. Do we have a certificate? Nope, we don't have. Request public certificate. Request a public SSL certificate from Amazon. By default, public certificates are trusted by browsers and operating systems. There's no private CAs available for issuance. Requesting a private certificate requires the creation of a private certificate authority to create a private cert CA. Alright. So this is for public. Let's try. Is this qualified, fully qualified domain recommended? How much am I gonna? Are public certificates free? Let's go and check. Find SSL termination definition. Yeah, right. So our SSL certificate in AWS ACM free? No, of course not. But let's read what find tells us. Oh, yes, SSL certificates in ECM are free. AWS ECM provides a seamless solution that offers free SSL or TLS certificates for your websites and applications. ECM simplifies the process of obtaining certificates, removing the manual process of purchasing, uploading, and renewing SSL TLS certificates. It also provides managed certificate renewal. ECM SSL certificates are valid for 13 months, and ECM takes care of the renewal process automatically. However, if you need to automate the renewal for other SSL certificates, you can use the AWS Lambda and the ACM APIs to achieve this. Here's the example code. So you can automate the renewal of the SSL certificate using Lambda or and the ACM API. Alright, so what else do we need to read about? So it says there that it is free. Okay. But believe so if we want to have a private certificate, we may want to use the what's this again? The hey, where is it? Oh yeah. We read it from here. Yeah, like the previous. Yeah, here. All right. So that's it. We first have we installed Paint yet? Nope, not yet. Right. my paint. Last night I had a dream about you, and these dreams I'm riding right beside you, and it looked like everyone was having fun. The kind of feeling waited so long. So, alright, so this is the AWS Private Certificate Authority. So, if you want to have a private certificate, you are gonna create this from here. Create a private certificate from the AWS Private Certificate Authority. And if you just want a public certificate, you can create it from the AWS Certificate Manager. Right, so this is where you can add additional names to this certificate. For example, if you're requesting a certificate for www.example.com, you might want to add the name example.com so that customers can reach your site by either name. Oh no, your customers can reach your website by either name. So you have to do this like this, and you might want to add this so that your customers can reach your site by either name. All right, so that's it. If you want to offload the CPU load, if you're gonna run a fleet of EC2 instances, so for example, here, this one here, we have fleet of EC2 instances. If we are gonna put it on before, if we put it on an in a load balancer, it was stated here that before it is being handling of the termination is within each EC2 instance, but now because of SSL termination, you can just upload to the load balancer. Okay, you can simply upload the certificates to your AWS account, and we'll take care of getting them to the load balancer. So how do we put it in the load balancer? We don't have a domain yet. So if you go to here, the load balancer, if we go to the DNS and load this like that. So this one here is this HTTPS connection not secured. So this one here is not HTTPS yet. So if we want to offload, how to say that again? So an e-commerce company has a fleet of EC2 based web servers running into a very high CPU utilization issues. The development team has determined that serving secure traffic via HTTPS, yeah, so the problem here is they are serving the EC2 instances with HTTPS, but they are not using SSL termination, so that's why it's having a very high CPU load because the SSL termination is happening for each EC2 instance. So the solution there is to use SSL termination and use the application load balancer. So create an HTTPS listener on the application load balancer with SSL termination. All right, so yeah, so here, if you're going to create a listener, here HTTPS, all right, so the default action is used if no other rules apply. Authentication, forward to target groups, redirect to URL, return fixed response, forward to target group, add target group, secure listener settings, All security policies, policy name, default SSL TLS certificate from ECM, from IEM, or so yeah. So import certificate. So this one here, if maybe if you're gonna buy some certificate from a third party provider, a certificate import destination. Import your certificate to either AWS Certificate Manager or Amazon IAM and Access Management. It will be imported and made the default SSL TLS server certificate for this load balancer secure listeners that you can import from ACM or you can import from IAM. Client certificate handling, mutual authentication. If you go to the ECM here, right, tags, server side task and status, add certificate, add listener certificate. Which one here is about SSL termination? This is the load balancer. And how do I set it to for SSL termination? All right, so let's read here. This is the previous. This is not the new UI, but let's see here if we can still digest some things here. Right, as you may know, you can use the AWS Management Console to create and manage your Elastic Load Balancers. As you can see from the second and third screenshots below, you can now select one of your existing SSL certificate or upload a new one when you create a new Elastic Load Balancer. This wizard will walk you through setting up a new load balancer. Begin by giving your new load balancer a unique name. Blah blah blah. Upload a certificate, new SSL certificate. So this is where you upload. So this is the your existing SSL certificate. Where is it that where we set like SSL termination? Is it automatically being set? So a lot of our users have asked for this feature, and we are happy to be able to meet their needs. Update, you've given some good feedback on this post already. Here are some replies. The team is looking into supplying the X forwarded proto header. This would allow your application to verify that the request was made using HTTPS or the treat or to treat HTTP and HTTPS requests differently. Sticky session stickiness is supported for HTTPS SSL. SSL termination. How does it work? What is SSL termination load balancer? Is SSL termination secure? Can SSL termination be performed in software? Alright, so let's read about this. What is SSL termination? Here, let's start here. SSL termination describes the transition process when data traffic becomes encrypted and unencrypted. This happens at the server end of a secure socket layer SSL connection. And what is SSL termination? SSL termination is a process by which SSL encrypted data traffic is decrypted or offloaded. Servers with a secure socket layer connection can simultaneously handle many connections or sessions. An SSL connection sends encrypted data between an end user's computer and web server by using a certificate for authentication. SSL termination helps speed the decryption process. Okay, speeds the decryption process and reduces the processing burden on backend servers. How does SSL termination work? SSL termination intercepts encrypted HTTPS traffic when the server receives data from a secure socket layer connection in an SSL session. SSL termination or SSL offloading decrypts and verifies data on the load balancer instead of the application server. Yeah, so that is the definition of SSL termination. So they are offloading and verifies data on the load balancer instead of the application server. Spared of having to organize incoming connections, the server can prioritize on other tasks like loading web pages. This helps increase server speed. SSL termination represents the end or termination point of an SSL connection. So what is SSL termination load balancer? SSL termination at load balancer there should be at here, right? It's desired because decryption is resource and CPU intensive. So because decryption, okay, so if you're gonna decrypt something, it requires resource and CPU intensive. Putting the decryption burden on the load balancer enables the server to spend processing power on application tasks, which helps improve performance. It also simplifies the management of SSL certificate. Is SSL termination secure? Yeah, SSL socket layer connections are important for sensitive data. One point to note that it is that after SSL termination, unencrypted traffic is sent between the load balancer and the backend server on the local area network. However, for security purposes, administrators can choose to re-encrypt the traffic at the load balancer before sending it to the servers. Huh? Huh? Why do you have to re-encrypt? SSL termination at load balancer alleviates web servers of the extra compute cycles needed to decrypt SSL traffic. The security risk of terminating at the load balancer is lessened when the load balancer is within the same data center as the web servers. Some load balancers also provide the ability to use a subsigned SSL between the load balancer and web servers. This provides a secure connection but requires more compute power. Can SSL termination be performed in software? Blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's it. So if how do we? Yeah, so like if you're gonna read a listener here, it's the GPS. So if you're gonna have an HTTPS here, I believe that is already considered as a um SS SSL termination, right? Uh, yeah, because it was stated here that they will handle it automatically for you. Take care of getting them distributed to the load balancer. All right. So if you just simply upload your certificate to the AWS account, and we'll take care of getting them distributed to the load balancer. So once that is distributed to the load balancer, that is already considered SSL termination then. All right. So that's it. Thanks. Bye.